Hello and welcome to the No Flipping Excuses Show, the only podcast in real estate investing that teaches what you need to know to find and flip deals right now. Wow. Break free the chains that are holding you back and join us on this episode with Jason Lucchese. Hello and welcome to the No Flipping Excuses Show. My name is Michael Bredthauer, and today we are bringing on a special guest that is going to talk about something that everybody wants to know more about. And before I get too far ahead of myself, I just want to let you know this is somebody I've recently met through Jason, and through talking to him over the last few weeks. It's been a complete pleasure, and kind of picking his brain and going back and forth on things. It's been an absolute pleasure. So I'm really excited to bring him on the show and have him talk about a really exciting topic. And I don't want to take too much of the storm away from him. So let me go ahead and introduce Mr. Dan Schwartz. Dan, how you doing?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Let's do it. Yeah, thanks for coming on the show, man. Why don't you go ahead and tell the folks about yourself a little bit and make a quick introduction?
Absolutely. So Dan Schwartz, I am a former wholesaler / musician. I was really wanting to be a real estate rock star for many years and was on the road a lot and flipping houses back in Baltimore. So kind of by circumstance, I had to figure out how to work through people and systems and processes in order to get stuff done. This was back in from 2011 to 2014, I was doing this kind of virtual wholesaling. And along the way, I learned how to use a system called Podio, which is got this flexible architecture. You can kind of design how you manage your leads inside of this flexible architecture. And a lot of people ask me how I did it. And it became a company where I essentially used automation to, automate a lot of the workflow that happens administratively inside of your flipping operation. I'm talking about the setting of the appointments, the follow-up that everybody doesn't do, the making offers, getting your team all in one spot, tracking your campaign, your KPIs, all this stuff. Most solutions kind of missed the mark on. So we kind of used Podio to reinvent that. And just recently we're launching off of Podio. And at the time of this webinar, in about 2 weeks, we're going to be going live with InvestorFuse 2.0, which is our standalone system that we're calling it a lead conversion system. So my journey's kind of been crazy, but at the heart of it, I am a real estate investor wholesaler and love geeking out about this stuff. And ideally love discussing the entrepreneurship side of real estate, because it's really all about the lifestyle that we got into this business for.
Right.
And we always forget about that. And we get way too distracted by the tactics and the shiny objects. And we forget that, we're business owners and we should act like that and grow as an entrepreneur to actually grow a business instead of just flip houses.
Right.
That makes sense.
No, it does. And you brought up a great topic as far as how you're using your CRM to do the follow-up, and how some, business minds, they're not really doing all of those things. And, it's, even within our own business, as we grow and as we continue to do, real estate, we're not naive enough to think that, hey, we've got all the systems in place, we're good to go. It's a constant evolution of, hey, how can we, systemize the follow-up a little bit better? How can we make sure that we're, getting more calls? How can we squeeze a little bit more juice out of these leads? So you brought up some great topics there.
Yeah, there's a lot of rabbit holes we can go down.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, from the entrepreneurial aspect, why don't we talk a little bit about what made you kind of dive deep into real estate? Like, what was the calling that made you think real estate is definitely the way to go?
Freedom.
Freedom.
So I heard a quote yesterday that I want to share. Freedom is not the ability to do what you want. Freedom is doing what you want. And that kind of sums up my entire life. I notoriously just kind of enjoy doing what I want and taking action and building systems that serve people. And that's at the root of everything that I'll ever do or create in my career. And I think the underlying motivation there is just that. It's just freedom, time freedom, and the ability to do the things that I enjoy with the people that I enjoy. And I know that I'm not alone with that.
Right.
And there's an entire community of real estate investors that are with us in InvestorFuse because of that fact. And they understand that if you really truly want to live an ideal lifestyle using real estate as the vehicle, you have to take your system seriously.
Right.
You really have to learn the power of hiring a team, hiring the right team, making sure that you're only doing stuff you're good at, making sure that you're only working on high revenue generating activities, and you have an awareness around the actual work you're doing so that you're not just busy all day.
Right.
That's the antithesis of freedom, is being busy.
Yep.
And you need to make sure you have the right tech stack in place. And both of those things, team plus automation, kind of work in conjunction to create a revenue stream.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what I'm obsessed about, just constantly trying to perfect that, thinking about your business as a funnel and using technology and team to basically to put leads in the top of the funnel. You can get leads qualified, get them nurtured, and get them closed at the end of the funnel. And then just trying to house that all under one roof is kind of the mission of Investor Fuse.
Right.
We teach everything in between.
Okay. No, I like how you put that there. And I definitely like how you said, the difference between being busy and, actually, kind of getting things done. I think that's a huge problem. I talk to a lot of investors and they're like, I work on this business, so many hours a week and so many hours a day. And, this is not working for me. And, as an entrepreneur, as a real estate investor, it's not real estate. Real estate works. It's proven. There are plenty of billionaires around the world with huge real estate portfolios to prove, yes, there's nothing wrong with real estate investing. It's how you're managing your time. How are you actually doing the business? If somebody say, I've been busy all day. Well, how many offers did you make? How many calls did you make? Did you do your follow-ups? How many follow-up calls did you make? And it's kind of like that, that's like always the first, well, you're already off to a really bad start. So why don't we kind of zone in on how you can systemize things a little bit better? Think like an entrepreneur. Don't think like this is a job and I'm coming in here from, I'm going to start at 9 and at 5 o'clock, I'm clocking off no matter what I've got done. No, you should be having the mindset of what can I do right now that's going to make me money?
Yeah, you need to develop an awareness. I call it task awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking, whenever you're on the computer, you should have a little trigger go off. How can I not do what I'm doing right now?
That's a good one.
And how can you operate your business just on the fly using Voxer, or Slack, or ideally as little as possible, both. If you're on your computer all day, just answering emails, you're not making money.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the minutia that is important and needs to get done, but not if are you the best person to be doing that?
Yeah.
Right. Would you fire yourself from that task? And it's something that I'm sure a lot of your listeners have heard this before, but putting it into practice is really like what my mission is. Like, I want people to experience the power of having an amazing, talented team. I want people to experience what technology can actually do to free up your time. And it all starts with just like the awareness of most of your day is wasted.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like you said, if you think about it, like 2% of your week might actually be the most important part of your week. When you're literally making an offer on the phone,
mm-hmm.
when you're actually negotiating at the house with the seller, when you're actually coming up with ideas to improve your marketing, like that's the stuff that actually makes you money and not all the other stuff. It's hard though, because when you're the only person in your business, you think that you have to do it all. So it's hard to take a step back and to develop that awareness and to think about how can I create a machine that uses other people inside of a tool to just do this stuff for me. But you got to just slow down for a second, take a step back, evaluate what you're actually doing, make a list, and then build systems and then come back in. And there's the pain of having to train people. And then there's the pain of leading. There's the pain of, adopting technology and the learning curve with that. But what do you want? Do you want to have a job or do you want to be a business owner? You got to make that decision.
Well put. Yeah. Do you want to have a job or do you want to be a business owner? I mean, it's all going to be at the mindset. I love how you put that, that you really want to, show people like, hey, this is the way you need to do it. Let's just say I love to ask this question. Let's just say you could go back in time, and because everybody right now that's listening, or not everybody, but a lot of people listening are at that position that you might have been when you were just starting out, and maybe your mindset was a little bit different in that, you didn't give up and you took the actions and you took the lessons as opposed to a failure. It was like, well, this is a nice lesson to learn. Now I know. What would you go back and tell yourself? And that person, that avatar would be all you listeners right now. That avatar would be you, to put yourself in the position you are now, or expedite to that point, or make it better. Like, what advice would you be like, man, if I could tell myself this, boom, this would be the best.
Get a business partner that complements your weaknesses.
Very good.
That's it.
That was very good. So you shouldn't focus on so much doing it all yourself. Especially the ones that you're struggling with, bringing somebody on that already is good at that and maybe not so good at what you're good at would definitely expedite that, hey, I'm going to get this business up and running, and have that accountability partner, maybe, so to speak, to push you along to be like, hey, we can do this, or this isn't a failure, or this investment, I don't know how much, people have invested in their education. We still do. I'm sure you still invest in your education. I mean, some of it, go some places. I think most education works, but every once in a while you buy or you get into something and it's like, well, that was a flop, but it's like, hey, I learned something. I don't care. I learned.
Yeah. And being able to just talk shop and strategize with someone that has an equal stake or some stake in the money you're going to make is magical. Mm-hmm. The things you're able to accomplish, 1 + 1 = 3. And it's just nice to have that structure to lean on, so it's not all on your shoulders when you're starting out. Mm-hmm. So the mistake you're going to make, though, is you're going to get a business partner that has your exact same personality and skill set. You need to understand that's going to be fun in the short term, but in the long term, it's not going to work out.
Right.
So if you feel that way right now, have this conversation, because it's going to turn into something later on. Can't have two visionaries at the helm. So the book Rocket Fuel is one of the books I'll recommend. I've been talking about this a lot because I believe in this dynamic to be the secret to success for some of the biggest companies in the world. Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak. You have your visionary, and then you have your integrator, the person that can create the systems and processes around the opportunity that the visionary sees. Mm-hmm. So it's offense versus defense, right? The visionary will jump off the cliff towards the supply of money. The integrator will build the wings.
Yes.
And that they both kind of need each other in order to get the most out of the opportunity. And to believe that there isn't an integrator when you're a visionary, or that there's no visionary when you're an integrator, is just a limiting belief. Mm-hmm. It's hard to put yourselves in the shoes of someone like myself. It was hard for me to realize that there was a John Whitfield, who is my now CTO, and he's the integrator for Investor Fuse. It was hard for me to fathom that 8 years ago, that the person existed and was willing to work towards a common cause. But you have to realize that there are people that love to do detail, like systems and processes type of work. Mm-hmm. And vice versa. If you're an integrator and you're working on something, but you don't want to be the face, you don't want to set the vision and lead and do all of the, the more public facing stuff, there's 100% people that are willing to do that and can help drive the ship. So you just have to kind of get over those limiting beliefs that there aren't people that could be a potential partner, and just start putting it out there in the universe. And eventually you'll have at least someone, maybe a mentee that you start training, that you can working with anybody. It doesn't need to be like a formal partnership right away. Mm-hmm. Just start working with other people. Just get practice doing that. You can't be successful in real estate alone.
Right. I say tell everybody you're buying houses. Tell everybody you're a real estate investor. At some point, you're going to click with somebody that's like, well, I've been trying to get into that too, but this is my problem. Well, wow, I'm great at that. Here's my challenge. And bam, you've got a relationship that, like you said, doesn't necessarily have to be a partnership right up front. It could just be like, let's just kind of see how this goes on some deals, and then we'll see.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. So, having that option open, let's just say, the most other common theme of this avatar is they're working a full-time job as an entrepreneur. They want to break free of that. They want to create that freedom, but their struggle is, hey, I'm working full-time. How do I get around this? And how do I even go about finding a business partner when I'm, doing a 9 to 5? I got to come home. I got the wife and kids. How do I do this?
Yeah, I hear you. It's a lot, but hear me out. You can get the phone ringing with about 3 to 5 minutes of work. Get home, download a tool like PropStream, for instance, where you can literally pull like vacant property lists in 2 seconds. Skip trace that list where you get the phone number, and then send that list to an outsourced company that can do the cold calling. That literally took me 5 minutes of work. I have a video that I put on YouTube, how to set up a cold call campaign in 5 minutes. There's services that you can outsource. So they'll take all the incoming calls, they'll make the outbound cold calls, they'll qualify the leads, they'll even set the appointments for you. There's systems and tools out there that can do most of the front end work. It's up to you to get the deal done, but that if you get it going on the front end, then there's no excuses. And don't let the fact that you don't have enough time or that there's too much information, you got to just clear that out and adopt a mindset like I have. That you can literally just get a marketing campaign done with 5 minutes of work, and a super targeted one. The technology that exists is nuts. And the companies that can help you accomplish the business services and administrative side of things, it's a very rich landscape of these services now, because there's so many wholesalers and there's so much room for improvement with systems and processes. Use a tool like InvestorFuse to convert the lead into a deal. You can eventually start hiring people, but first it's okay to use an outsourced service to do some of the front end stuff. And I think that the best general front end hire is getting a call answering service or a lead manager type of person to capture all the incoming opportunities and get the right ones in front of you.
Right.
So no excuses.
That's what it sounds like. No flipping excuses is exactly what it sounds like you said. So there's always a way. There's always a tool. Even when you can't, be at the phone, there's a way to have somebody answer that phone for you and get you the information you need. So when you do get home and you do have 20 or 30 minutes, you can maximize it by calling, 2 or 3, vetted leads that had come to you that you have a good high potential of converting. And then slowly but surely growing it into walking away from your job and having more time to either reach out to people yourself, hone your skills. I think that's important to continually, even when you can systemize these things, is still get on the phone. Even with us building a team of VAs to do outbound calls, our acquisitions, we still do calls because it's good to keep that, that going, and it's that rapport with people and everything. Great advice all the way around. I think that's awesome to just have that and tell people, hey, there is really no excuse. There's plenty of tools out there. You find the one that's going to fit your business. Don't get shiny object syndrome and go crazy and invest all of your capital into tools. Because there are tools that have, kind of tiers where they have a free starter kind of profile on some of them. Other ones that, don't, they might just be, the one tool you need versus, 3 or 4 other tools that are making life difficult. I mean, you have to look at it this way, not only the investment of the tool itself, but the time it's going to save you from having to do that work outside work. So let's just say, you're having a monthly expense on a tool that's $100, $200, $300 a month, but it's doing so much for you that it's converting at least 1 or 2 leads, a month for you passively while you're at work. And that's converting, $5,000 to $10,000 each. Do the math. Don't be cheapo about it. Just think about it. Think of it logically. What is really going to help me maximize my time and think, like you said, like an entrepreneur would think, like what is going to be good, what is going to be bad, long term, short term.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just one thing at a time. You don't need to have this robust system architecture built out from day one. I understand that there's some people that love doing that and figuring that out. Try to resist the urge and just take baby steps. And action is so much better than paralysis, just tiny little steps.
Right.
Sign up for the tool, take the training. Man, take action is such a overused thing, but it builds your confidence, and having confidence feels a lot better than the overwhelm that you might be feeling right now.
That's
so
true.
Just after this call, just go and watch one of my videos or something, like anything. Having a conversation is the best action to take when you're in doubt, by the way. If you ever have an analysis paralysis situation where you don't know what to do next, have a conversation. Boom. You have a way out during any feeling of overwhelm. Just have a conversation, whether it's with a coach, with your business partner, with your mom, your dad, your siblings, your kid. It really does help you kind of figure out that next step.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good step to take. And you're right. Like at the end of the day, it's all about the skills and the people skills, and specifically, you use systems and processes to magnify the people side of the business at the end of the day.
I like how you didn't say go to Facebook, because that's not really a personable thing.
That's not a conversation.
No, that's not. Having an actual conversation with somebody is a conversation. So I like how you said that. Couple more things then. I mean, as an entrepreneur, we're always looking to grow. We're always looking to, our knowledge and everything like that. What business book, investor and type entrepreneurial type book would you recommend to somebody listening? Like you would say, if you read this book and follow what we're talking about, this is the path.
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
He's got it right in front of his desk. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. What can you say about that one for us?
I wish I had a little soundbite.
You could just push play.
Here we go. Every adversity, every failure, and every heartache carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefits. This book is timeless. It's crazy. It was written so long ago, but every single chapter relates to something that's still relevant to this day. And it really is just all about the mindset, making sure that you have a definiteness of purpose, making sure you kind of get obsessed about your vision, making sure that you have a plan, making sure you have a masterminds, all of these things. Like there's even a chapter about masterminds in here. It's just like super, super relevant even to this day. How to manage your emotions. It's a must read. I read it every single morning. I just flip to a random page every morning, and there's always something that's like, oh man, I needed to read that today.
It definitely looked like that book has been around for a little bit. Yeah. So that's awesome, man. Next, for those of us that have been listening, what would be a good way, because you had referenced some of your videos that people could watch, what would be a good way for people to reach out and find out more about you and learn a little bit about what you're talking about?
Sure. InvestorFuse.com is the main website, and there's a blog on there that has some epic guides. If you want to get access to like the best of list of all our epic content, just go and download the 10 Commandments of Real Estate Lead Management ebook that you can download on the homepage. You'll see the opt-in right there. It's 10 of the things that the most successful members of InvestorFuse all do across the board that gets them deals when their competitors just sort of aren't getting deals. Because we're in kind of a weird time right now. There's never been more wholesalers fighting over the same deals,
right?
All doing the same marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it about these other companies that actually they're winning and everybody else is getting shaken out? You got to understand that, and the ebook will help make that clear for you.
Right. Okay, good. Hey, you've heard it right here on the No Flipping Excuses show. Dan just gave away the 10 commandments that you need to learn as a real estate investor here in this business. And you heard that from somebody who was talking not about anything but how to be an entrepreneur successfully, how to jump into this business the right way. He's talking, from his own mistakes that he's made, and he even came back and talked about the advice that he would give himself. Dan, is there any final nuggets or anything that you would leave with anybody, just to be like, this is what you need to know, and I would, if you don't follow this, or I'm going to leave it at that, and then it's up to you.
Just make a decision, guys. Do you want to have a job? Do you want to flip a house, get money, and kind of just do that forever? Or do you want to own a business you want to go through the transformation of becoming an entrepreneur, make that decision right now, and it'll change the course of your entire career.
Awesome. Hey, folks, you heard it right here. Dan said, make a decision, decide what you want to do. Are you going to have a job, or are you going to have, your own business? How is your mindset going to be? Are you going to think like an employee, or are you going to think like an entrepreneur and a business owner? So, you heard it right here. Dan said, go to, if you want to check out his stuff, investorfuse.com, right? Investorfuse.com. Go check out his blog. He gave away some awesome advice on this show. He's got even more awesome advice on his website. So I definitely recommend checking it out. Reach out to them if you have any questions and learn more about just becoming an entrepreneur too. And this is all coming from the real estate side too. Everybody on here wants to know how to make money in real estate. It's not real estate, folks. It's the mindset that you're in. So go out there, flip a house, make your offers, take action, and make your decision. What are you going to do? If you have a few minutes a day, use that few minutes to watch some TV or use it to make a phone call. That's up to you, folks. So until next time, we'll see you on the show. Dan, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate all your advice. Get out there, make it happen. Talk to you later. Bye now.